very hard. The Warrior was very hard. I already seen the thumbnail. I was like, here we go, picking at the Warrior again. Now I know Papa Shango Godfather and somebody else wasn't tearing them apart. They love to get on this ask sickening questions about what the man's not even there to defend himself. Come on now, come on. The other thing I said in another video, everybody can't get along. About everybody's your buddy. You know they know well it's not happening. And everybody's not kissing your hide either. But I don't know what is he gonna talk? What are they gonna talk about now? Because you're wearing them out with it, and people still don't know. To this day, the Warrior actually has a shoot interview when they made that DVD because that one dude he got hot. He said this was what did he say it was a hit job. This is a burial session. He was pissed off. Anyway.
Bit player. Thoughts on the Ultimate Warrior? Did Warrior knock you out? Did you see him passed out in gorilla position after matches because he blew himself up? He was still the Dingo Warrior at this time.
He's never knocked me out. I've seen him at the gorilla position, blown up, so to speak. What I didn't like is there was a match on TV. A friend of mine, Brian Costello, had an Irish type gimmick with the clover leaf. He was from Mishawaka, South Bend, Indiana. Warrior hit him right in the face, and I think it shattered his nose or his teeth or something. He comes back and goes to one knee, and he's leaning on one of those boxes you see that are on wheels. They carry equipment for backstage. You see him in Hollywood. You see him everywhere. They're production boxes. He's leaning on it, and he's down, and he's hurt. Tony Gurria goes to his aid. Warrior walks right by and goes like this and kept on walking. I witnessed that, and I put that there, too. I don't like people like that.
No, I can imagine why as well. I mean, I've talked to George South, I've talked to Brooke.
Well, you know, I don't know if it was a new guy in the rookie thing, but you know, like a lot of times, because I don't know who that was. He won, maybe even the Tough Enough. He said he went to shake some guy's hand, and that guy did him the same way. Walked past it. He went like this to shake his hand, and he just looked at the guy, looked at Maven funny, and kept walking. You know, I don't know. I'm not out there, but yeah, that's I don't know what match he's talking about. But yeah, I know the new guys and the rookies. They said they get treated funny, but I don't know what that's the same situation or not. But
Brawler, and they both said that they knocked them out, or just basically did not take care of. Ultimate Warrior did not take care of their bodies.
I'm going to piggyback on all of this because, well, first of all, when I first met Jim, he was Dingo Warrior. I worked with him at the Keel Auditorium in St. Louis. Very grateful. He's green. I'm in the shower with him, and the guy's telling me about he's got problems with his marriage or something, his first marriage. I'm thinking he's I don't know why he's telling me this stuff. And just, he was humblified. But here's a classic example of too much.
like he was trying to have a conversation with you.
Hanging with the wrong guys and following the wrong guys. Basically, in my eyes, he's a smartened up bodybuilder. I'm just calling it like it is. I don't really think he liked pro wrestling. I don't think he got trained right. He didn't pay his dues.
They talked about this 15 times. He even said it his self. They got angry. He wanted to do other stuff. Well, it's different now, but just back then he wanted to wrestle. And of course, he probably wasn't trying to be out there till he was trying to be out there for 30 years. And he said, like the other guys, keep getting in the ring at 50-something years old. You know, but yeah. He wasn't trying to be out there 25 and 30 years and do other stuff. Now you can do other stuff because it's different. But back then, you couldn't do the movies and stuff. Like the only person doing the movies back then or doing different stuff was Hogan and Piper. Hogan, Piper, and somebody else, Jesse Ventura. But everybody wasn't doing that. They said you're a wrestler and that's it.
Maybe he liked
Unless it was commercials for the company.
A hot minute. Okay, I'd work with them. It was the same old thing, the same old thing, and the clotheslines were stiff and stuff. No problem. I mean, I took a press slam from him on a boxing
He wasn't the only guy that was
in
stiff.
St. Gerardo, Missouri.
It was rough.
This is when Vince, you would have to get a ring. Now he's got a ring in every building. They had to go rent a. That darn thing was like falling on cement. He lifted me, and I landed on my forearm, and it split open. That's how hard the ring was. It split right here, bleeding. Always in a bad mood, yelling in diners, which is a no-no. You're supposed to be a pro. Telling.
I don't know about the yelling, but the stiff thing, they done talked about 50 times. They said, well, they try to compare him, Goldberg and the Warrior with the stiff thing, but they said Vader was rough with the. They said who was it? Duke Droese. He said those forearms, and those forearms were getting rough. And shit, who else was it? I don't forgot now. Now I already said Goldberg. The Road Warrior. That's what it was. They said he said that clothesline. He said that clothesline took your damn head off. He said it was probably an accident. He said the guy went and said one of them took his head off with that clothesline, but about busted his neck. And I don't think he was. The Road Warrior was sitting in the locker room saying, "I can't wait to break this guy." It was an accident, just like the D'Lo thing with the power watch. Watching that earlier, it was an accident. He wasn't trying to kill the poor guy. But yeah, they was mad about stuff from 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I don't know. It's like I said, I don't know the guy, but like some you get along with, some you don't, and that's it. Cause we watch this stuff, but they're back there. It's their job. But yeah, everybody ain't going to get along. So you don't like him, we don't like him. But yeah, he's picking
the
it.
agent's
Just keep
telling
picking
him,
that.
great match, Jim. That's bullshit. Okay? But my biggest, and this is a fact, Baltimore Civic Arena. I work with them at TV. The locker rooms are separate, babyface and heel. He's screaming, and I can hear him through the wall. So he picks me up for a press slam. I know how to take a press slam. By the way, I've been press slammed by the best. And I will call it like it is. Best press slam, taking care of me in the ring, Lex Luger.
Really?
That's a fact.
Wow.
Sells for me, never hurt me, torture rack, anything. His other things, maybe he had other things going in the lock. I don't care. And I consider the source.
I remember Luger.
Took care of me in the ring professionally.
I remember Luger using the back there. I remember if he's talking about when he using WF, he was maybe he used it once or twice, but I must have missed it. But I remember because I was in school, he was a narcissist, the narcissist, and that was perfect for him because he used to sweat himself, but he used to come off the rope with the steel-plated forearm, which that's not bullshit. That's not. He has plates in his arms. He got into a bad accident, and I remember in school trying to knock people out with the forearm, and I'm getting in trouble for that shit. What are you doing? It's like it's the forearm. That's what you gonna get. The steel-plated forearm. But yeah, that wasn't no joke. But I didn't see him use the rack in WWF. WCW, of course. I don't remember him using that. Then I'm hearing Hercules had it first, like who had the stunner first. I was like, oh boy.
I think it was a respect thing, and I'm hoping it was. Excuse me. So, taking a press slam, he's not strong enough. He can't get me. I was 215 at the time.
Not strong enough.
220. It's not my fault. You fucked up. Own it. You'll become a better person and a better worker. If you always say you're another or you're blaming it or passing the buck, you'll never get better in life, period. Especially as a pro athlete, pro wrestler. And I could hear that dude through the locker room. This guy's been in the business 20 years and he can't take a fucking press slam. Now, normally, I want to go in there and confront. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm in there, and if I do confront him, first of all, I I never told people, to this day, maybe few people know that I wrestled amateur. Not the pedigree of Kurt Angle or the Steiners or Brock Lesnar. Amateur wrestler, period. High school and college. Never told anybody that. Never told them anything about that I was a certified sports nutritionist. I don't need to. I'm a wrestler. I don't want to advertise that. I want to stay with my craft, and I don't want people to know my business. So let's say I go in there. I know what he don't know what he's doing. I would leg dive him and take him down. And it'd be embarrassing. I'd get fired. Pecking order. Let's make an example. And plus I would get jumped by the Bulldogs. I know I would. I can't fight 5 people, and who knows who's going to defend me.
He's been back there a while. He was back there with the Bulldogs.
Was distasteful, disrespectful, and just being a dick. And I don't forgive, and I don't forget.
Well,
With
what did I just say
that being said with the Warrior,
5 minutes ago? Mad about old stuff. It's like people make the mistakes. Maybe he didn't apologize. Maybe that's probably what pissed him off. He's supposed to, my mistake, get me back or whatever. Maybe that's what it was. But yeah, because it's a mistake. Like I remember, and it was horrible because I know the Taker was pissed off a couple years ago when the Taker and Goldberg finally wrestled, and he had him, and I was watching the reaction to Magnus. He dropped that man on his damn head. If Taker didn't tuck his head, because Taker still tucked his head, you wouldn't have probably had no last Taker match, because Taker doesn't get pissed off in the ring. He was pissed for real when that match was over with. He was like, "What the hell was that?" And yeah, because I remember Tyrone Magnus, he jumped up and hollered because he had him up there. His head drilled into the mat. That was one of the roughest things you've seen. Not the roughest, but it's close to it. That was bad, real bad.
we can leave the Ultimate Warrior there, but as we know, you go in there to make people look good. You go in there to...
Excuse me, 1 second.
Go on.
I'm sorry. It just came to my mind.
Oh, go ahead.
When I think of Warrior and I think of face paint, I think of the Road Warriors, Demolition, and Sting. Not that jack off.
Oh, scary! Jesus Christ.
With that being said, you're going in there to make people look good. You're going.
I'm gonna cut him off again because like him or not, he was over. He had action figures that are worth $2,000 today. People still can't get him. He was a top dog. Like him or not, he was up there with Hogan and Savage. I remember that era. It was I know they said Hogan went to do movies. I don't care about that. It was Hogan, Savage, and Warrior, and when he came back at WrestleMania 8, yeah, it's almost like he didn't kind of spoil it, but still, he's like, he don't got nobody left. And that music hit, that was it. I jumped up out of the seat, almost knocked the chair over. He was getting so excited. Came out there and to help the Warrior. Came out there to help Hogan. So yeah, he was something. Even when he came back, and even though it was short, the '96 thing, he came back looking like, except for the blonde hair, came back with looking like the old Warrior. He was built 260 something. And if him and Vince was getting along, he would have probably stayed there to the Attitude Era, and we probably would have seen the Warrior versus Stone Cold, which I would have paid to see that one. I'm sorry, Stone Cold, but he would have kicked out the stunner and put pressure over your damn head, and that would have been it. A splash, then that would have been it. I'm sorry, that would have been it, and that's it. So Barry, you can. I'm sorry, you forget about it. What they say, forget about it. That is just. It is. That's what it is. Can't even talk. I'm so frustrated.
In there to do a job and get paid, etc., etc.
People don't mess up. Come on, man.
All the big stars, Randy Savage and Jake Roberts and whoever else you're working with. Who are the guys at the top who are the most gracious?
And James is a good interviewer, but I'm just saying, everybody picking at the Warrior business.
And who are the guys who don't?
I like James, but this picking stuff.
The dudes that did for me. Roddy
old
Piper,
stuff at that.
Don Morocco, Jimmy Snuka, all of the Samoans. of course, Mike Graham, Brian Blair, Steve Kirk, a lot of gracious people, sincerely. As far as the second B part of the question, James?
Yep.
Who didn't?
Yeah.
Who didn't? Who didn't? Who didn't? Who didn't? Who didn't?
Basically, who laid it in when they just didn't need to get themselves over at your expense?
Oh, yeah, got to get their shit in. It's called.
Exactly.
No matter what.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of that. It's really, what do you call it? Selfish.
And by the way, of course, I remember Barry Horowitz. Of course, I remember Barry Horowitz.
Bit, but now that
used to do that, I remember him perfectly.
Here's a guy I haven't seen over 20 years. He has changed.
Even wrestling Survivor Series and SummerSlam. I remember all that.
Vader, of course. Not too many. Tiger Conway Jr. So. I really can't. I really can't. JBL, a little reckless, by the way. And a River, and I've seen him in the last 20 years and it's changed for the best. Remarried, mature, basically out of wrestling, successful, good for him. Yeah. Well, yeah, he's up there with the reckless and stuff like that.
Boy. And yeah, another thing with the Warrior, people really thought that he was, because he did like these convention things. They thought he was running out to the convention, talking crazy. I was like, I don't know about thinking that he's gonna. That's not. You talk about the fans, believing everything. I don't know about thinking that he ran out to the convention or the seminar, not convention, seminar, talking about you have to read this book. I don't know about thinking he talks like that. Oh, come on. Because it's just the character. Warrior even said himself, it was funny. He said he played back some old tapes and said, what the hell was I talking about? He said it was funny at the time. But and then about the getting tired or getting wore out thing, he told the interviewer, not this guy, but the other one, when he did that interview, he was like, you want to go do it? He's like, no, I'm good. And he's like, yeah, that's what I thought. He's like, you get out there and run. Yeah. So, and then as far as the wrestling, every wrestler, they said this 100 times, every wrestler doesn't have to be Brett and who else? Brett or Steamboat or somebody. Yeah. And saying he didn't know the business or he didn't like, well, yeah, I don't know about that, because he talked about that too, how you have to work the moves and do this and that, and but he didn't have to do all that. That wasn't the thing. He was like the superhero. There you go, like the real life superhero. It's like Hogan. He said, well, Hogan, yeah, well, he's still. Who doesn't matter who's best. Hogan or Warrior was a top dog. He was in there. It was Hogan, Savage, and Warrior. And Hogan and Warrior, or Hogan and Savage, had made their money, and Warrior was next. And Hogan did some movies or whatever, and then his Warrior. So he had got the IC belt twice. I remember, in the world title. So there you go. He said he got in. He said he got into it to be in the highest level, and the highest level is the big belt. So he didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know I don't know about that. They just love to pick at it. Oh boy, they are, as Buddy would say, they can't get enough.